Trust me, I'm not happy about this. Somebody's ready to go this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're live, we're live, we're live. We're live. Business for breakfast. Good morning, guys. You can see here, 2 minutes. I try to get a little early. Here's my issue. I can't figure out, like 2 days ago, my webcam, I can't shift it back. I don't understand what's going on here. So I don't know. Right now, it's my MacBook laptop webcam, but we'll see. Hopefully today, tomorrow, I can get this figured out because I've got my webcam there, but I can't use it. So anyway, 2 minutes until we go live for the greatest business for breakfast you've ever seen. I know you're excited. Let me go here to my morning mark. I want to go to my template, actually. Template. Let me grab this. Let me put this. We have 1 minute. 1 minute. Morning mark. I've got a micro machine little update. Let's see. Print that. 1 page, please. Please be one. Okay, good. And print. 45 seconds. Oh, my word. Oh, my gosh. That's the 7 a.m. alarm. Printer. Why are you not printing? Oh, that's right. That's because this guy has switched networks and is not on the Wi-Fi of the printer, which is also super normal, okay? Because you guys know how this thing rolls, bro. We do this live every day, and most of the time, it's just on the verge of disaster, okay? So are you guys ready? 7 seconds. I know. Who's excited? Who's ready? There it is. Plug this back in. Make sure she's ready to roll. Good morning, business builders, and welcome to Business for Breakfast, where business is the most important middle of the day. I'm your host, Aaron Novinger, the Venti Business Guy, otherwise known as VBG. Our goal in this show is to make you 1% smarter today by unpacking business news over the last 24 hours, sprinkle with tips and tricks to help you mind your own business. All right, I know you're not here for me. You peeps are here for the morning mark. No props required, no drinks, no gear, just you and a functioning brain. We'll work with what we've got. Desk, wherever you are, desk, truck, kitchen, job site, standing or sitting, it doesn't matter. Pick one thing you will finish today. Not a list, not 10, not 3, just one. Now, mark it mentally and write it down. That is the line in the sand. That's the thing the day doesn't get to erase. This is the pause that sharpens the edge. The moment that turns noise into signal, the tiny act that makes business owners dangerous in a good way. That, my friends, is your morning mark. All right, my beautiful people, you drive, I dive. Buckle up, buttercup, and let's roll. Okay, now, thank you, Justin. Appreciate that. I got to figure out my webcam thing because it's still throwing me. Hold on a second. I got a light over here. Don't go anywhere. I don't know if that's going to help a lot, but who knows, man? But we're going to have a party today. All right. Today, which we all know being Thursday, it's Treat Yourself Thursday. All right. So before we jump into this day in history, I think it's important for you guys to understand on today, this is the only day of the week that you as a mom and pop Venti shop are allowed to focus on you. That is Treat Yourself Thursday. It is royalty because you are royalty. You are the backbone. You're the secret to our economy. And today, every Thursday, is Treat Yourself Thursday. All right. So, guys, I am beyond excited and I'm about to. Are you guys ready for Treat Yourself Thursday? Are you guys ready? Here we go.
T-Mobile. 3 words for you. Treat yourself. Treat yourself 2011. Once a year, Donna and I spend a day treating ourselves. What do we treat ourselves to?
Clothes.
Treat yourself.
Fragrances.
Treat yourself.
Massages.
Treat yourself.
Mimosas.
Treat yourself.
Fine leather goods.
Treat yourself.
It's the best day of the year.
The best day of the year.
All right. Now, today is the best day of the week. It is Treat Yourself Thursday. Okay. So you guys know at the end of our Juice and News, we're going to have some ideas for you amazing mom pop Venti shop owners on what you can do. And I know you guys are cheap and you guys have no time. And you guys know I engineer it for you. Okay. Now, can we jump into like this day in history? Because I don't think you guys are going to quite understand how magical this day is. Okay. This day, you guys know this is a live show. We do it live every day. Today being February 26th. What is going on this day in history? Are you ready? Today, February 26th, this day in history. Just make sure. Yes. 1869, the discovery of the DNA. Friedrich Miser first isolated nuclein, also known as DNA, from the nuclei of white blood cells. While he didn't fully understand its function at the time, his work was a foundational step in the field of genetics. Come on now. It eventually led to the double helix model in modern mapping of the human genome. Amazing, man. Amazing. It is amazing that you go back a few hundred years ago and we used to, as a society, when somebody died in surgery, we as a society and the doctors would come out and all the nurses would basically go to the person and say, hey, you didn't have enough faith and that's why the person died. And then we basically figured out, oh, there's something called germs. You probably need to wash your hand between surgeries. I know, crazy, right? So yes, this is a huge, huge thing for us because up to this point, you know, we just thought we all cray and we all had a bunch of like spirits and demons and all that stuff. And it's come to find out it's just genetics, playa. It's just genetics, right? What else is going on this day in history? Today, first demonstration of radar, 1935, today, in a field near Daventry, England, Robert Watson Watt. No freaking way, dude. I'm just going to assume that Robert Watson Watt created the freaking watt, and we call it a watt because of him, probably successfully demonstrated the first practical radio detection and ranging system. It's freaking radar. I didn't know that's what it stood for. Radio detection and ranging system. Oh my dear God. I told you guys, I learn as much as you guys do every day. And remember, watching this show ain't free. You got to give me a like and subscribe. It's the only form of payment I require. Thank you. What else happened this day in history? Oh, no freaking way. 1815, Napoleon escapes from Elba. After less than a year in exile, Napoleon Bonaparte escaped the island of Elba with a small band of followers. His return to France sparked the 100 Days campaign, leading to his final defeat at the Battle of Waterloo. And when he got back, all of his commanders said, we're toast. Bro, I just thought of that real time and live. Okay. Island of Elba, all of his captains said we're toast. Come on, man. All right. I know you guys freaking love it. And look, we all need early morning dad jokes, right? I know I do. What else happened this day in history? 1885, the Berlin Conference concludes. The General Act of the Berlin Conference was signed by major European powers, effectively formalizing the scramble for Africa. This established the legal framework for the colonization and partition of the African continent, a shift that permanently altered global geopolitics. Cray cray. Also, get ready. 1929, Grand Canyon National Park was established. I'm just assuming it's because we freaking know that there's been giants and aliens and beings from different vibrations that have been hanging out the freaking Grand Canyon since the beginning of time, right? So I'm just assuming that, President Coolidge basically signs this thing in there, basically not to protect the greatest canyon, but to protect what's in the greatest canyon. Are you dragging what I'm saying? What else happened this day in history? World Trade Center bombing. You're thinking, no, moron, that was September 11th. Wrong. The very first one was on this day in history, 1993. A truck bomb detonated under the garage of the North Tower. It had 6 deaths, over 1,000 injuries. Okay. But they were trying to blow one of the columns, support columns. And we all know you can't blow that. And so it requires a concise demolition takedown to take down a skyscraper. Yes. Go look at World Trade Building 7 for 9/11, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Famous birthdays today. Freaking Buffalo Bill Cody, American soldier, bison hunter, and showman whose Wild West shows created many of the enduring myths and images of the American frontier. That was freaking Buffalo Bill. Also today, Johnny freaking Cash, the man in black. Oh my God, dude. This dude's music is timeless. Who else has a birthday today? Are you freaking ready for this? Levi Strauss. Yeah. Yes, it's jeans, but it's also a real dude's name. I knew that you knew Levi's. Okay, that could be a name. But you knew Strauss was his real name? German-American businessman who founded the first company to manufacture blue jeans. His invention of copper-riveted waist overalls, buttons, created global fashion staple and a symbol of rugged American workwear. And by the way, go anywhere on Levi's are still hot today. It's not like when I grew up and like Bugle Boy was like in for like 2 minutes and then it was like super out, right? Members only was very in and then super out. Okay. Let's see. Levi's super in. Like it's insane how they have stood the test of time. Insane, but that's just a testament to the company. What else? No freaking way. You want to know what the fun fact or today's national day is? Every day there's a national day. Today is, ready for this? You're not going to believe it. National Pistachio Day. You know that my favorite birthday cake of all time is Watergate cake, which is, to be honest, I have no idea where it got the name. I just know it's effing delicious. White fluffy cake, and it's got this pistachio creamy, like light icing. And then I'm not a coconut guy, but there's coconut in it. And like mom puts like these little cherries on there, which I freaking hate, maraschino cherries, except I love this cake. All pistachio. Pistachio, bro, go eat you some green nuts because you're allowed to today. And don't forget, today is Treat Yourself Thursday. That's right. All right. Did you guys enjoy this day in history? I told you, man. You will learn at least one thing. Yes, Justin, that's right. It is Pistachio Day. Oh, my dear God. And he said, that's nuts. For the love of God and all that's good. That trumps my dad joke of Elba toast. Okay? Because it's Melba, but Elba. You know what I'm talking about. Nope. Pistachio Day. That's nuts. That wins the dad joke, period. Nicely done, my friend. Nicely done. He probably used AI to help him with that. That is okay. But guess what time it is now? It's time for some juicy news. All right. Now, this day in, we already did this day in history, but this day, meaning February 26th, here is the most up-to-date, on-time business news specifically curated for us mom and pop Venti shops. All right. Okay. Who's ready for the news? Let's get ready for the daily briefing, small business edition. All right. Here is the title. SBA opens disaster reload for Michigan small businesses. Here's the story. SBA officially announced today, February 26th, the availability of low-interest economic injury disaster loans, EIDLs, for small businesses in several Michigan counties, including Kent, Midland, and Elgin. These loans are designed to offset losses from a triple threat of drought, frost, and excessive heat from late 2025. I swear, bro, like I love Michigan, but freaking Michigan during the winter, it's like I'm not saying that I've been to hell, but if I had been to hell, this is like the worst place to be. And like Michigan is like right above it, like right here. Like Michigan, Detroit winter is just a little bit above hell, like right above. Okay. Dude, Michigan got hit with all three. Oh my God, dude. And now you want to know why the people from Detroit and Michigan, they're resilient people, man. You cannot break somebody from Michigan. Now we know why, bro. Go hang out. People in Hawaii have no concept of paradise is. When you're born into paradise, you don't know what it is. The only way you know what paradise is you've got to spend a winter in Detroit. Then you'll know. You know, spend a winter in Detroit. That's what paradise looks like, where nirvana. What else is going on in the news today? Oh, here's the title. Small business optimism hits 99.3 as service sectors surge. So I love the NFIB, National Federation of Independent Business Owners. We've been members for years. We support them. We champion them. But here's the story. The latest NFIB Small Business Economic Trends Report shows the Optimism Index climbed to 99.3 this week. The service industry, which you guys know, that is our bread and butter. That is our baby. We have serviced that industry with accounting and other back office services since 1968. And so the service industry has seen a large jump with a net 18% of owners expecting real sales to increase this quarter, biggest quarterly shift across all sectors. Now, the reason why this is a big deal to us, okay, the vibes, the synergy, it's finally matching the math, okay? So if you are a service provider, and you guys know I'm talking about, the gas station, the donut store, the repair shop, consultants, whatever it is, okay? Your peers are seeing a massive like catch up in consumer demand, okay? So now is the time, if you're a service-based business, including us for accounting, okay? It's time to push your marketing, okay? The wait and see for the customer is now ending, and now it's your time to go grab it, okay? So by the way, if you guys need help with this, if one of our specialties is we typically will take on typically 10 clients at a time, but our specialty is accounting plus accountability. And so we guarantee that we'll double your profits in a year and help you dominate your market. But we have a very proprietary way we do it. So, but if you guys have questions about stuff and you need help with accounting, bookkeeping, whatever it is, we have been and we are always here for you. And there's basically two ways to hit us up. Go to businessforbreakfastradio.com. Submit a question. Hey, Nav, hey, Ron, I've got this business idea that I want you to kind of flesh out with me. Okay, cool. I've got a question about this. Okay, cool. I'll reply back or read it on air, or go to speakwithaaron.com, speakwithaaron.com. And that gets directly to my calendar, my scheduling page, and I will call you at that exact second, on the nose like a doctor. And we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, accounting, bookkeeping, strategy, consulting, whatever it is, we're always here. But this stuff kind of, you know, when you're a service business or you've got this idea, a lot of times you suffer from paralysis by analysis. And sometimes you need an outside source to kind of help you get unstuck. And that's what we do. As a matter of fact, we're the only accounting firm that actually has open source peer advisory groups. And actually today is ours. I'm in a peer advisory group. We're big believers in eating our own home cooking, right? So whatever we think is delicious, we're going to tell you about it as well. And I've been in peer advisory groups and masterminds and small groups for 20, 25 years-ish. I owe most of my success to I call my personal board of directors. And by the way, if you guys are like, oh my God, that sounds amazing, hit us up. Go to businessforbreakfastradio.com or speakwithaaron.com, and we'll talk about it. Trust me, they are game changers. They're 12-week sessions. You'll get more done in 12 weeks than you have probably in your entire lifetime. They're that powerful. What else is going on in the news today? Huh? Oh my gosh, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. Let's see. What else? Oh, here it is. Here's a big story. This is on X this morning. Mom and pop restaurant closes after tough year. So it's the story. The Market by meat seller in San Juan Capistrano shut down after 1 year, citing self-funded struggles and low revenue in a challenging mom and pop landscape. This is, you guys don't understand what's going on right now in this one particular industry, which the mom and pop restaurants, which is my heartbeat. I owned an Italian restaurant in my early 20s. I was also a fine dining waiter for most of my 20s. So I'd be running a business during the day and then waiting tables at night, white starched shirt type of thing. And so this industry and the service industry is very, very particular to me and very special to me. And what you see, what is happening right now, which we've never seen ever in history, is the invent of what we call Monopoly 2.0. Okay, so just to give you guys a little bit of history, in the 1990s, Bill Gates, Microsoft was about to be broken up as a monopoly. So Bill Gates basically hands his law firm a blank check and says, figure out how to keep this from happening. And they come back with two suggestions. Number one, you have to save Apple. Apple was almost out of business. And so if you guys remember this keynote speech with Steve Jobs, he invited Bill Gates in on the satellite, and the entire audience simultaneously booed because everybody knows that Apple and Microsoft do not mix like oil and water. That's right. And so law firm says, hey, you've got two things you got to do. Number one, you got to save Apple because the United States of America hates monopolies, but we love duopolies. Okay. Home Depot and Lowe's, Walgreens and CVS, GM and Ford, right? Apple, Microsoft, we, Apple for OSs, for Android, Apple, we love duopolies, but we don't like monopolies. And so they had to basically infuse $100 million to save Apple and to save themselves. And then the second thing was they came back and said, it's time for you to start what I call the lazy river business model. And it was the first time we saw this in history. Was we ended up, the lazy river business model was, they came back and said, look, you already own the majority of this one thing. And all practical purposes, you quite literally are a monopoly in the operating system space, the personal computing operating system space. And they said, but what you need to do is start getting into like-minded industries and own big pieces of those. And so today, Microsoft has over a dozen divisions that do well over $1 billion a year in revenue. That is what Peter Thiel calls Monopoly 2.0. That was the reason why the Sherman antitrust laws were put in place in the 1920s. You were never, ever, 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 ever in human history supposed to see companies valued at over 1 trillion. Trillion. There's 10 companies. Bam, bam, what? That's the acronym. Okay. 10 companies worth over $1 trillion, but it's because they all have followed Microsoft's business model from the 1990s. Lazy river. When you go to a water park, right? You guys go to the water park. You know how this works. You go in, and if it's a big water park, there's always a lazy river. And the lazy river's job is to what? Take you to all of the rides in the park, right? So that's what's going to happen. So what you see with Microsoft, what do they end up doing? They've got their Xbox, they've got their cloud storage, they've got all these different divisions, well over $1 billion. And that's what you're seeing today with mom and pop restaurants is because of that. So I'm going to tell you exactly what happens. I'm going to tell you the reason why mom and pops are going out of business at a rate we've never seen. And I'm going to tell you how to fix it. Okay. All right. I'm going to use restaurants and I'm going to use Brinker. So Brinker owns Chili's and a bunch of other brands. Okay. And they basically every few years go and have to rebid their food contracts. Okay. And usually these big food conglomerates, okay, McDonald's, these guys, they have 3-year food contracts with the largest distributors in the country. Okay. So think of like Cisco, McLean, Benny Keith, these guys. Okay. Usually not Benny Keith, they're more medium, small biz. Cisco, McLean usually service the big boys. Okay. So 6 months before the contract is due is typically when Cisco, let's say Cisco has the Brinker contract. I don't know this. Okay. But I'm just going to say, I'm using this for the example. And 6 months before him, the leadership from Cisco says, we need to meet Brinker. And Brinker says, cool. And they say, hey, how did we do for you guys the last 3 years? And they say, oh my God, you guys were amazing. And like, okay, great. Well, we're ready we want to negotiate before we get to the end of the 6 month period before we get to contract time. And they say, good. And then Brinker says, just so you know, last 3 years, we've opened another, let's say 30 locations. Okay. And we're doing, instead of bringing you guys 500 million in food spend, we are now going to bring you guys 550 million in food spend. But here's the dealio. We need better pricing. And Cisco says, because they're publicly traded, our number one responsibility is to our shareholders. Okay. Profit. Cisco cannot, under any circumstance, afford to lose the Brinker contract. They can't. Okay. And so what do? So they decide to do what? Okay. They go and they rebid and they drop the price a little bit on the biggest proteins or whatever it is. Okay. But they're publicly traded. They can't afford to lose money. So what do? They pass that reduction. It's this. It has to be a sliding scale. So if they come down on price, they've got to press and increase somewhere else because they can't lose money as a company. What do? Pass it to the mom and pop. So what you see today, you were never supposed to see in human history. There used to be a time where if you had the idea, and one of my good friends, her name is Melissa. She owns, in my opinion, probably the greatest coffee shop ever in the town that we lived in for 20 years in North Texas. And years ago, she had this idea to have the best coffee sandwich shop in town. And, out of the last 10 years, she's voted like 7 or 8 out of the last 10 years, best coffee shop, sandwich shop in town. But that is not enough to stay in business. And you guys understand that it's not if, but when she goes out of business. But it's because you have to understand the economies of scale. She has one location. She has no buying power, zero. Everything on that P&L, she pays the highest cost available, the highest cost ever she pays, from the COGS down to payroll, down to the pest control, the highest cost, because they have no economies of scale. The only way to save the mom and pop is you got to get them to link arms. Okay, you got to get them to link arms. It's the only way. And so we've got to start linking the mom and pops to increase their buying power. And by the way, if this is something that's unique to you, you're like, oh my God, Ron, this sounds fantastic. Yes, look, if you have questions about this, you have questions about our open source peer advisory groups, it's like your personal board of directors. We're here for you, and we can help you guys navigate this. Our expertise is accounting plus accountability. So we guarantee once we take you on as a client, we open up and we take on 10 clients at a time. But when we open up, we guarantee we'll double your profits in a year. It's guaranteed, but it's because of how we help you and partner with you. And for so many of you guys, that's what you need right now. You're stuck. And we're here for you. We, as an accounting firm, are designed to be ministry for you. Our job is to help you suffer less, right? So you have questions about a business idea, you've been stuck somewhere, you want a strategy, you want to do some consulting, we can help you. 2 ways to hit us up, businessforbreakfastradio.com. Submit a question, I'll reply back or read it on air, or hit me up directly, speakwithaaron.com, speakwithaaron.com. That's my personal scheduling site. You'll always get to me. And trust me, I call you on time like a doctor. Did I say that right? Because are doctors on time when they call you? Let me take that back. Whenever you schedule it, I'll call you on that time. Okay. All right. Now let's get back to some juicy news, because today there is always more news than we have time, but you guys know the purpose of this show is mainly for me. I do this show for me. Okay. I do this show because as a mom and pop Venti shop owner, the world beats me up, and I kind of feel like I need a daily church service of encouragement. I want to learn a little bit. I want to connect with a higher power. I want to connect with other people that are like me, who all feel like they're black sheep, and they feel like they're on an island by themselves. I want to be encouraged, inspired. That's what today is, but it's because I need it. And I kind of figured, look, if I need it, maybe some of you guys need it too, because that's what we do here. And so the news is a piece of it, but you guys know there's not one time that you've ever finished one of our episodes and not finished for the love of Mary, I feel like I just got out of a cold shower. This show should be so refreshing that you just feel like you are just electric and ready to roll, right? But what else is going on in the news today? There is so much. Here's the title, the $25,000 tip shield. So here's the new 2026 W-2 rules for tax-free tipping. Now, you know that Mr. Orange Man, yes, this dude just loves hanging out in drama land. We know that, but we also know he's a populist. If you know anything about populists, they tend to be grandiose narcissists, meaning, yes, they're obsessed with themselves, but they're obsessed with how people see them. And they really strongly feel that their job is to be the voice of the people. And so, yes, you can both be a narcissist and you can also want to be very, very helpful. It's actually, those are the greatest individuals to change the world, because they're obsessed with what people think, and their heart belongs to them, but they also are obsessed with themselves. The greatest, like most politicians, minus the grandiose part of narcissism, right? But this one thing, tax-free, $25,000 tax-free tips. Huge, bro. Absolutely, unequivocally huge. Huge. Okay. But here's why. Because the first $25,000 that is claimed as tips is tax-free. It's excluded from income tax. Is this not coming from the service industry, coming from a place of knowing that we do everything we can, and we're part of the segment of the population that everybody just feeds off of us? We don't really have the boundaries in place, because usually boundaries require resources, meaning like money and people, to keep all of the wolves away from the sheep, and so I tell you, man, this is a huge thing for the service industry. And by the way, if you own or run a restaurant, you know that that's our specialty. We focus on accounting specifically for you. Our three biggest industries, I say, like a third, like a pie chart, a third of them would be like the mom and pop restaurants. A third would be like the mom and pop mechanics, the shops, the garages, and a third is everybody else. Okay, so that's the doctor, the dry cleaner, the donut store in Oklahoma and Missouri and everywhere else. It's cannabis. It's everybody. And the thing is we need this assistance. We need this help. And so if you're trying to figure out how to do the taxes or whatever because of this, look, don't try to figure this out by yourself. We're always here for you, and we want to help you and be ministry for you, help you suffer less. So you can hit us up two ways: businessforbreakfastradio.com, submit a question, I'll reply back, read it on air, or hit me up directly at speakwithaaron.com, speakwithaaron.com. Okay, you get directly on my schedule, and we'll chat about whatever the heck you want to talk about: consulting, strategy, accounting, taxes, payroll, whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Cool. Who's ready for more juicy news? Okay, are you guys ready? This is a biggie. All right. This, when I say it's a biggie, we as men struggle with underwear. And I know this sounds weird to you ladies, because most of the stuff that you wear is either covers most of your midsection and hugs you like Spanx, or it's basically dental floss. And then I just think of that one scene of King of Queens where Doug has to go up and fold the laundry. I think it's like the first couple seasons. Okay, and he's got Carrie's like little tea back panties. He's doing he's like this, folding it up. If you can't see me, I'm telling you right now, you're literally crying because you know the exact scene of King of Queens I'm talking about. Okay, you're either wearing those two. Guys don't. It's not that simple for dudes. It is if you wear whitey tighties, but if you don't, then you have a different problem when it comes to underwear. Okay, because half the time if it's loose, they slide down. So like half the time you're like reaching down, pulling up your underwear, like it's just, and your shirts come untucked. Like it's just this weird thing. Okay, so whenever I see on X, Men's Health comes out, we've tested underwear for the last 8 years. Here's our top 10 favorites for you dudes, and by the way, for you ladies who need gift ideas for the dude. You're like, I just don't know what to get him. You now are about to find out what to get your boy, and he is going to thank you, and so is his junk. His junk and him are both going to thank you. By the way, that just reminded me of yesterday's story about Penisgate on the Olympics, about how those skiers were injecting what they call leuconic acid into their junk to increase their aerodynamic sail. They called their junk a sail, and it was like helping with the sailing, giving them more aerodynamic. I swear, this is not even a lie. Go look at it. You're going to die laughing. That's why this show's not for kids. Okay. But here it is. Please summarize this article in 100 words. Are you ready? Okay. Here it is. Here's the top. I'm finding this out with you guys. Okay. So I'm just as excited to see who are the best underwear brands. And by the way, if you think you have an idea, I'm about to read them to you, but put it in the comments. Okay. Now, here's what's weird. I would have guessed, if this was the 80s or 90s, I would have guessed this brand, but I had no idea they were still doing this. And the reason why I would know this brand is from one of the greatest movies of our generation, meaning born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s and part of the 90s, Back to the Future. Yep. Most classic, Calvin Klein cotton stretch. Remember, she hits him. Calvin. Marty McFly, Calvin. So best overall title for superior ventilation and moisture wicking fabric, Mark Weldon's Air Knix boxer briefs. Air Knix, AIRKNITX boxer briefs. Most classic, the Calvin Klein cotton stretch, best for the gym. I did not know this brand made undies for dudes. Lululemon, always in motion. I'm going to be getting at least a pair of all this. Best every day, Ralph Lauren 40 Flex. Best variety pack, Abercrombie and Fitch. I'm going to also ask brand most easily washable in sync for travel. Because when I travel, I learned this from Tim Ferriss years ago, the certain brand that he used. This is like 15 years ago. Exo Officio. So EXOFFICIO. The Give and Go 2.0. It's the specialist. So I've got a few pairs of these when I travel, and they're literally made, they're very lightweight, and they're made like wash in a sink, like grab the soap from the hotel, whatever, and just wash, and they're hang them up, and they're good to go. And literally within an hour or so, they're dry. That's what makes them so great. They're diamond mesh fabric. It's got like more surface area, which allows the water to evaporate faster, basically more than any other brand. So here we go. Other notables, best variety pack, Abercrombie & Fitch. Other notables, Uniqlo Airism for seamless, Skims, obviously if you're a Cardi fan, and Tommy John for that luxury feel. Come on, man. I freaking knew you were going to love this. And all you guys are hanging out with me. Like nobody ever leaves the show while I'm doing one of these segments. Okay. It's always when I'm doing the news, but I knew you guys would freaking love that. Okay. What else is going on in the news today? Okay. Oh man, more than we can deal with. Ooh. CNBC did an article a couple of days ago called Changemakers, how we chose the 2026 list of women business leaders. And you guys know, we champion leaders, high capacity individuals. We don't see color and we don't see gender. We don't see age. Capacity is neither age nor color nor skin, nothing. It has nothing to do with your religion. It's just your capacity. Actually, more often than not, it has to do with how you were raised. And oftentimes, usually those that dealt with trauma, mild trauma, tend to be the highest capacity individuals. It's literally how the CIA handpicks their people. They look for people that had trauma as a kid because they know these people are obsessed with not letting people down and obsessed with proving to themselves mainly that they are worth something. And the CIA uses that and utilizes that when they pick their operatives and their agents. But we're talking about women in particular, high capacity leaders. And we know the purpose of the also is for inspiration. So anytime we see this, we champion these individuals. Okay, please summarize this article in 300 words, because I know it's going to be a few ladies they're going to be highlighting, and I want to give some props to each of them. Well, first, to qualify for the list, the nominees must hold senior leadership roles, such as a founder or president. Financial eligibility is strict. Private companies must have at least 25 million in annual revenue or an enterprise value of 100 million, while public companies require a market cap of at least 250 million. So the selection team, led by CNBC's editorial board and advisory board of industry icons like Tory Burch and Sheryl Sandberg, she's the most famous CEO from Facebook ever, evaluates candidates based on both quantitative financial milestones and qualitative leadership qualities. Key criteria include solving old problems with new approaches, identifying untapped market opportunities, and breaking traditional gender barriers. The 2026 list highlights these powerhouses. Notable, honorees: Mira Murati, co-founder of Thinking Machine Labs, for her contributions to next-gen AI. I don't know why it said this. Selena Gomez and Kim Kardashian, whose brands Rare Beauty and Skims have reached multi-billion-dollar. Okay, fine, whatever. Mary Powell of Sunrun, recognized for her storage-first energy strategy. Other leaders like Chevron CFO Amir Bonner and Logitech CEO Haneke Faber were selected for steering massive corporation transformations. Let's give huge props to these ladies, because to be in a mainly male-dominated industry, you don't get there without knowing how to play the game. You don't get there without knowing what you're doing. And so we always want to highlight and champion these leaders, especially if they are women. So nicely done, ladies. You deserve it all. What else is going on in the news today? Oh my gosh, bro. Harvard Business Review. So 3 decades of experience doing consumer research and observation for corporate clients led these researchers to pinpoint 30 elements of value. Are you ready? We'll cover some of them. We'll cover some of them. Okay. Please summarize this article in 300 words. Okay. If there's 30 qualities, there's going to be way more than 100 words on this bad boy. I'll give you like the top 3 to 5. We'll look at them. Okay. So, Okay. So the researchers found that companies that excel in multiple elements achieve significantly higher customer loyalty and revenue growth, specifically in these 3 elements. Okay. Number 1, quality is king. Across all industries, perceived quality is the strongest driver of customer advocacy. Without a baseline of quality, other elements cannot compensate. Number 2, digital versus physical. Digital companies like Amazon often dominate functional elements like saving time and avoiding hassles. In contrast, brick and mortar retailers often win on emotional elements through personalization, in-store experiences. I always say, like, i.e. authenticity, okay, in parentheses. The multiplier effect. Companies that perform highly, scoring 8 out of 10 or more on 4 or more elements, have an average 3 times the customer loyalty of those with only high scores, okay? So the framework, they call it the value pyramid. Okay, it's structured like a pyramid, mirroring Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, so the baseline is functional, base utility like saving time, reducing cost, or providing quality. That's baseline. Next level up is emotional. So benefits like reducing anxiety, nostalgia, or badge value like status. Next up the pyramid. The next, life-changing. So elements that transform a consumer's life, such as providing hope, motivation, or a sense of belonging, which you guys know. That's the whole purpose of what we do here. Is it's to provide that hope, motivation, and a sense of belonging, because we are big believers that everybody should feel loved, needed, appreciated, and valued. And everybody wants it. Everybody deserves it. And then at the top of it is the social impact, like the apex of this pyramid. And that consists of like one single element, self-transcendence, where the product helps the customer contribute to the world. Bro, if you can get there as a service, or at least remind yourself that you are there to help your customers suffer less, you instantly have purpose in what you do, and you go from making money, which is pleasurable, to purpose, which is, I always say, pleasure is the rice cake, purpose is the steak. Okay, so if you can basically have the apex and where your product or service helps customers contribute to the world, oh my word, bro. Oh my word. You hit the nail on the head, man. You hit it. Okay. You can't do any better than that, bro. You can't. Right. But I knew that you guys would absolutely dig it and love that because when I read, I was like, man, that's just powerful. What else is going on in the news today? The killing of Mexican cartel boss El Mencho shows President Claudia Sheinbaum has decided to confront the drug gangs head on. Now, I put that in there because not because we talk about politics or that stuff, because I don't, because to me that's just noise, and most of it's propaganda designed to evoke a certain emotion out of you, because we all know that legacy media, state-owned media, most of media is designed to create tiny micro dopamine releases, which gets you addicted, coming back to their juice, right? Their juicy news, their juicy news. And so the reason I put this in there is because there is huge stuff going on right now in Mexico. And you guys know that we've had a phenomenal partnership with Mexico for decades, meaning we have factories down there. Mexican, the cartel that does not interfere with the U.S. and vice versa. Like there's this protection between us. After they captured and killed the head of that cartel, cartel starts retaliating. And so everybody that's down there now is basically, they're not allowed to leave. They can't go to the airport. It's too dangerous for expats to be down there. And so that's what's always unique. That's why I love Puerto Rico. Go to Puerto Rico, bro. I always call it dirty Fort Lauderdale. Okay. Like, you go to Puerto Rico and hang out. First of all, everything works like it's in the US. So like Yelp, Uber, all works. And dude, the greatest people on earth and the greatest food on earth in Puerto Rico. Okay. And plus, because their tax system, they have more 7-8 figure millionaires per capita than anywhere else in the world. I believe it's anywhere else in the world because of their unique tax system. So they are part of the US, but they have their own IRS. Very, very unique. If somebody wants to talk about that, trust me, you want to talk about that, or you want to talk about accounting or anything like that, we are experts in all this stuff. So you can definitely hit us up. And 2 ways to reach out to us. businessforbreakfastradio.com. That's you can go there, submit a question. Ron, you're talking about Puerto Rico and taxes, blah, blah. Ask a question, I'll reply back or read it on air, or you can ask me directly at speakwithaaron.com, speakwithaaron.com. And we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, including the tax system in Puerto Rico and how it's different. And if you can hang out there for, 5 or 6 months out of the year, you basically just removed yourself from the IRS and the tax situation while utilizing US-based economy and all the US-based services that you're used to. That's Puerto Rico. And we can help you guys with all that stuff. So, but why don't we jump into some other juicy news, because I'm telling you guys, that is powerful. Now, Harvard Business Review does this it's a study they did a couple of years ago, but it just came out on X a couple of days ago. It says choose 1 or 2 skills to focus on at a time and break that skill down into manageable goals. And I'm going to summarize this for us real quick, but as it's doing it, I'm going to please summarize. And by the way, just so you guys know, I use Gemini, Grok, Chat. I use all of them based on what I'm trying to do. And I've heard that Anthropic is freaking amazing. And so there's a lot of them that are out there. These are ones I use basically every day. This article in 100 words. There you go. And so much of, I just remember Scott Adams' Systems Over Goals. And that's coffee mug. That's his. Before he passed away, January 13th of this year. I call him my pops number 3. The guy just changed my life. I spent years and years listening to every single daily episode for years. And he talked about systems over goals. And to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons why I'm able to do what I do, is because I'm engineering everything into like bite-sized manageable tasks where I enjoy doing it, rather than something I'm forced to do, like it's discipline. Discipline is never something that's sustainable. What is sustainable is enjoyable stuff. So you have to learn how to make things enjoyable or easy to do, low barrier of entry, to do it long-term and to be consistent. And you guys hear me say this every day. Routine is the key. Consistency sets you free. Routine is the key. Consistency sets you free. Okay. And so what HBR is talking about here, okay, is just focusing on incremental approaches. That's what we talk about on the show. We want you to get 1% smarter every day, right? So develop your talent stack, but slowly over time, right? You guys see, even with this show, like almost every time I incorporate one new thing, you can't even tell, okay? But these are like little micro things, okay? Remember, systems over goals, right? Select 1 or 2 things, specific skills to prioritize, okay? And then deconstruct it and break it into manageable action goals, action steps. How do we eat the elephant? 1 bite at a time. And that's also, by the way, if you're a mom and pop Venti shop and you're like, dude, I've had these ideas, these goals I wanted to do for the business, and I've been stuck. I don't know where to go. You guys know that we have peer advisory groups for you. They're open source peer advisory groups. We're believers that things that change your life and change your business should not be behind a locked paywall. If you guys have questions, or you guys want to know about what it is that we do, we're the only accounting firm on earth that is accounting plus accountability. So we have peer advisory groups, open source, like your own personal board of directors, to help you as an owner clarify what your goals are to get it done. You get more done in 12 weeks than you have the last 2 years guaranteed. Also, you've got an accountability, a team to hold you accountable, and their job mainly is to help you minimize mistakes, especially the ones that cost you money. Okay. So, we're just talking about the Harvard Business Review. Choose that one thing. A lot of you guys you've been stuck. You're suffering from paralysis by analysis. You don't know how to break this thing into manageable, actionable goals and little bite-sized pieces. If you're stuck, you have questions, hit us up, man. Go to businessforbreakfastradio.com, submit a question. I'll reply back, read it on air, or speakwithaaron.com, speakwithaaron.com. And that's my own personal scheduling site. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about: accounting, payroll, bookkeeping, taxes, strategy, whatever it is. Okay. Now, if we can, because we've got a couple other redonkulous stories for us to hit on. Before we do, I want to, Cody Sanchez is basically on almost every day posting stuff that is just fire. Okay. She's just fire. Okay. And she posted it. You are probably sitting on skills, talents, and opportunities that can change your entire life. And let me just explain something to you. If you didn't know this, is that all of us have a plankton. Right. Yeah. If you have kids that were obsessed with SpongeBob like mine were, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's this little plankton. Okay. He's got one eye and he's like the size of a grain of rice, but he lives in your head. And in your head, he's always screaming, "We will rule the world." Like he's that dude. But outside your head, he's like, like that dude. And the thing is most of you, you are all put here for a reason, and you are all put here for a purpose, and you were called to do that purpose. Unfortunately, most of you suffer from fear, the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure. It's just fear, right? And what you need to know is the thing that actually changes your life is the thing you don't want to do the most. The thing that you're avoiding the most is quite literally the thing that's going to change your life. Okay. So let me just give you an example. One of the things I must do is journal. And before I do it, my plankton is always like, "You don't have time for that, blah, 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 blah." But I'm telling you, it is what sets me free. Okay. So what Cody is saying here is that you have skills, talents, and opportunities that are in you, and they were birthed in you. Part of it's genetics, part of it is the environment you grew up in, but they're there. And you're dealing with this unsettling thing. It's this hole that you have. And it's because you're trying to fill a hole with pleasure rather than purpose. What Cody is saying here is you have a purpose, and your job is to find out what it is. I'm going to tell you a story about John Maxwell. And you guys know I always finish up with a reframe from Scott Adams' latest book, How to Reframe Your Brain, which is it's white right here, right there. So years ago, I was in Toastmasters, and this would have been probably somewhere between 12 and 15 years ago. And I was the club president for 2 terms. In one of those terms, Toastmasters International paid to have John Maxwell. And how do I not have any of his books behind me? Because the dude changed my life. John Maxwell books. I need to buy a couple of them to put behind me. What's behind me is what changed my life. And so John Maxwell, Toastmasters pays to have him on a 1-hour conference call. And during this 1-hour conference call, and dude, I'm taking like rabid notes. Like I got freaking rabies, bro. Like my hand's on fire. Like I've got like carpal tunnel from taking pages because I was going so fast. And John talks about his early career. And I didn't know this at this time, even 15 years ago, he was like already known as a big keynote speaker, author, consultant for big companies, but nobody really knew him as a pastor. Okay. So he talks about when he first got called into ministry, his dad basically was having a conversation with John. He said they were standing face to face. He said his dad put his hands on his shoulder. And he looked him in his eye and said, "John, I know you think your job is to preach a really good message on Sunday morning and to get a lot of people to walk down the aisle." He goes, "But that is not your job. Your job as a pastor of this church is to look at every single member of your congregation and see that they have an imaginary 10 on their forehead. Your job is to find out what they're a 10 in and turn them loose in that. Your job is to find out what they're a 10 in and turn them loose in that." That was the entire ministry of Jesus. He didn't know ministering in the church. He was always with the people, finding those that were downtrodden, they were outcast. They were, I always call them misfits of society. Society thought they were nothing, and they thought they were nothing. But Jesus was the ultimate talent stack seeker. Like, the guy knew within 10 minutes what your talent was, and he knew how to call you to a higher purpose, to give you substance, to give you the thing that fills you up. And that is purpose. That is purpose. You were born with purpose. And I know you've been chasing money and you've been feeling empty, but I'm telling you right now, you have a calling. You have a calling. And that's what Cody's talking about. You have a talent stack. And John basically said, and from that moment forward, he basically was a curator of talent. His job was to go find talent. And I'm telling you right now, as the mom and pop Venti shop, if you are the owner or you're the one in charge of hiring, I'm going to encourage you to do a couple things that I think will completely change your life. Number one, I want you to focus on finding people that are focused on careers, not jobs. I want your mindset to change. I want you to have the mindset that you're hiring for life. That when you hire this person, you're hiring for life. It changes how you see people. Because what you'll end up doing is utilizing Facebook's rule of hiring, which is don't hire anyone you personally wouldn't work for. Right. So that's what we're talking about here. Hire for life. That's the reason why Elon Musk hired the first 1,000 people at Tesla, right? It's the reason why IBM, Thomas J. Watson and Johnson, under Watson, senior and junior's leadership for 75 years, never laid off a single human being for 75 years. People were the priority. If you focus on finding the 10 and turning people loose, right? You all have the same 7 plates of business to spin. We all spin the same 7 plates: the trade, the accounting plate, sales and marketing plate, the HR plate, the customer service plate, the logistics plate, the IT plate. We have to spin all these freaking plates ourselves. If you start looking for talent, people that can help you spin these plates, and your mindset is, I got them for life, you just changed your business overnight. Now, the life that we see right here, this is delayed reality. So you have to understand is that when you make the change, it happens in the 4th dimension. It usually takes a little bit of time for the 3rd dimension to catch up to. It's already been changed in the 4th dimension. So when this change happens, it's already happened, 4th dimension. Now reality just has to catch up. There's a delay to reality. What you see, this 3rd dimension, is delayed reality. Okay. So listen, make your people your priority. Focus on your people, not the profits. Focus on your purpose and your people, not the profits, right? Purpose is the steak, right? Pleasure, profits is the rice cake. They will never sustain and they will never fulfill. And you will always end up eating more and more because you're never full. I used to be like that, man. In my 20s, I was obsessed with the money. I was obsessed with it, mainly the image. And God had to set me free of that, man, bro. And I'll tell you that story at a different time. But we've got to be set free of that stuff. And when you are, bro, your life is different. Your life is different. So I hope that this is resonating with you guys and speaking to you, because to me, the reason why I do this is because I've done it wrong so many times. I figured out how to do some of the things right. And I just want to help as many people as I possibly can to not have to suffer. That's it, man. I'm just a dad who wants to help as many mom and pop Venti shops as I possibly can. And the great thing is, it's not just us. Our entire team is obsessed. It's ministry for us. We're a for-profit entity, but we all act like we work at a nonprofit because we get up in the morning with one purpose: to help our mom and pop Venti shops suffer less. And so if you guys are needing help and you're suffering, we're here for you. And there's 2 ways to hit us up: businessforbreakfastradio.com. You can submit a question. I'll reply back or read it on air, or speaking to me directly at speakwithaaron.com, speakwithaaron.com. Now, I told you guys when I first started that this would be the greatest business for breakfast you've ever seen. Did I disappoint? Hell no. If you think everything we've talked about is hard, or you think it's easy, you're right. I want you guys today, do not just work in your business. You've got to mind your own business. All right, my beautiful people. You guys got the news. You guys got the tips and tricks. Now go own this freaking day. My name is Aaron Novinger, the Venti Business Guy, and you guys know what time it is. What time is it, my beautiful people? What time is it? It's time to get to work. Kapow!